Hello. So, first of all, I just want to say you guys did tons better. I am so impressed. You guys grabbed my feedback and took it and ran, and I love that. I got to say, in all the times I've taught this class, nobody has improved that much that fast. So I'm very impressed with you all. Let's see. So just a little rundown of the highlights of the feedback. So yes, you still need to do the data trifecta. And again, it's not, this is for you to prove to all of us that you know what you're talking about. If you can say where how the data was collected, what kind of data it was, and how it was manipulated, then that proves to us that you know your stuff. And that's all we're trying to do, because I know the answer to the question. Your committee's going to know the answer to your question. So we just want you to prove to us that you know what you're talking about. And that's the easiest way to do it. I mean, nobody's going to say, hey, what's the data trifecta? Because that's just a me term. But it's if you can answer those three questions, then you got it. You know your stuff. So, yes, the data trifecta, you want to answer it, and it works for any kind of methodology, any at all. So you use it all the time, and that will help you to prove what the methods are in that study. A couple of you had trouble with the question on the data types and the limitations and the advantages. All of that came straight out of the reading. This table 9.2 on page 191. It goes over all the different types of, all the different types of data collection for qualitative studies. And some of you, like for example, you put down case study. A case study is a method. It's not a type of data collection. In a case study, you would do interviews. Interviews are a type of data collection. So be careful that you're not, mixing up your terminology there. Because again, the whole point of this is to get you solid for your qualifying exam. And if you're solid on the written part of your qualifying exam, then the oral part, where you actually have to orally defend what you've written, is going to be cake. So that's the whole point of trying to get you solid on the written side. Some of you had trouble with the question on what could possibly be quantitative. Yes, any number collection is definitely quantitative, but don't just look for that. For example, if they took, let's say they were doing observations and they were looking for a specific behavior, and they counted how many times that behavior happened within the observation. Well, a count is quantitative. A count is you're actually taking qualitative data and turning it into quantitative data. If they're comparing behaviors from one day to the next day, they might say, hey, there was 3 of these in one day and 2 of these in another. That comparison, it starts beginning to turn quantitative, because qualitative data, remember, like I said with ethnicity, if you were going to put ethnicity into categories, how in the heck would you ever compare them? How do you rank them? It's fruit salad, apples, oranges, bananas. Well, it's kind of the same thing with all qualitative data. It's fruit salad. And if you're going to be able to compare them, then that means you've got to turn it into a little quantifying there. So you're going to force it into one category and force it into a different category. You're changing from fruit to actual numbers or something that you can compare. So it's not by comparing, by categorizing, by counting. All of those ways are ways that you're starting to lean to the quantitative side. You may still be on the qualitative side, but you're leaning towards the quantitative side of life there. So it's just something to be aware of. Again, this is just a question that I'm putting on here. It's not going to show up on, that kind of question won't show up on your qualifying exam. I'm doing it to try and get you to start recognizing that, okay, that's kind of a quantitative thing, that's kind of a qualitative thing. It's more or less to help you solidify in your mind the difference between the two. And that goes to choosing articles. So a couple of you chose really good, solid studies. A couple of you picked mixed method studies. And then one person didn't really pick a study. So here's the deal. You're only hurting yourself if you're not picking a study that's matching what I'm asking for. Because we're practicing these skills. And if you, for example, picked a quantitative study to answer qualitative questions, you're not practicing your skills for qualitative, and it's only going to hurt you in that sense. So it's better to try and pick a study, and you want to pick an academic, peer-reviewed journal. Those are going to be the best ones. They're going to have the most solid types of studies. And some of you have, I've been very impressed because you said, yeah, this study sucks. And you're absolutely right. Some studies really do suck. So that's why I keep trying to impress upon you, don't think the author knows what they're talking about. Sometimes they don't know what they're talking about. Sometimes they're kind of winging it as they go along because there's another reason for this study. Not to put out information, not because they're wanting to show anything, but because they're trying to get a grant or they're trying to support something else. So that's why you should always take every study with a grain of salt. Let the author prove to you that they know what they're talking about. Don't ever, ever, ever accept what the author says. You decide for yourself if this person or people know what they're talking about. Also, somebody brought it up in the posts. When you do your qualifying exam, we don't hand you an article for you to deconstruct. You give us 3 articles. And we pick which one out of that 3 that we want you to deconstruct. So you're not going to get some funky article from us that you have to deconstruct. You get to choose the article. That's why I keep trying to get you to pick solid ones, to pick ones to practice with, so that you're building your skills so that you can figure out what a good article is to do the deconstruction with. And once we finish the mixed methods, we're going to go into article deconstruction. Because now you have your feet under you. You have more of an idea of what quantitative, qualitative, and soon to be mixed methods. You'll have more of a solid footing under you on those, so that then we can dive down and really practice deconstruction. So no fear about getting a wacky article. You pick them. And so when we do the deconstruction, you need to pick really good, solid articles to practice deconstruction with, because nothing says you can't, what you practice with, you can't send to us for your qualifying exam. So I'm just saying, now that you have your feet under you and now that you're a better judge of studies, pick out good things that you can use on your qualifying exam. And I'm going to give you more about the qualifying exam. Article deconstruction is just one question on the qualifying exam. It's just one. Think of it as like a third of your qualifying exam. Let's see. Oh, I was very, very happy with your peer feedback in the discussion posts. You guys are getting much better at that. And I appreciate that, some of you said, hey, look, I'm sorry if I came across a little rough. That's fine. And you guys were very kind to each other in that sense, that you were generous with hearing the feedback, which is good. That's a good thing. because nobody's perfect, and it's good to practice now and learn now. So so I was really impressed. Very good quality feedback. Let's see. I think that's about it. So we've done quantitative, we've done qualitative, and now we're about to smash it together into mixed methods. So everything that you've learned about quantitative, everything that you've learned about qualitative, we're now going to put them together and look at a mixed methods study. So there's not going to be any need for like, hey, what's the quantitative piece of this or what's the qualitative piece of this, because your mixed methods has very definite sections of quantitative, qualitative. So keep with the data trifecta, keep with the different types of qualitative data. If you have any questions, let me know, but you guys are doing awesome. I've never seen a class rebound so fast out of this. And like I said, you're getting your feet under you. You're starting to see what's a good study, what's not a good study. And that's good, because that's where we need to go. That's what we need to build on. That's why I said that I kind of hate to do it, but I kind of just got to throw you in so you can get started. So you can learn to judge for yourself what's good and what kind of needs to be, I don't know, recycled. So, but you guys you're doing terrific, and I really appreciate your patience with learning these skills. So if you need anything, I text, email, get a hold of me. Oh, and that reminds me, I am so sorry that one of the questions had ed tech in them. I sincerely apologize. The last time I taught this class, it was just ed tech. So I sincerely apologize. That should have been all the tracks. And I've already changed it for the mixed methods assignment. And so I did not mean to slight anyone. All tracks are welcome. So, again, you need anything, let me know. And you're doing great.